Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Raw and Wild Hearts podcast. I'm your host and guide, Lori Rising, and welcome to today's episode called Your Certainty Matters. Mm. That's probably a little different than what you've been hearing or what you maybe thought I was going to drop in here. But this is a reverse engineering that I'm going to be doing. I'm actually going to be taking us into the conditioned certainty that we grip so hard from a place of control and expectation. And I'm going to be taking us back to some access points of certainty in our lives that will actually move us into the new identity, iteration, version, creation of the lives that we actually came here to live and to feel. Really important because right now, are you feeling a lot right now? This is the collective elephant in the room, the collective fear that's happening. Because even if you think you're not tapped in, you are tapped in. Now, before I get to that, though, I do want to drop something very hot right here. This is the only truth in life. This is the only certainty that we have. Are you ready? Nothing is certain. No thing is certain. It's not supposed to be. We actually came in here to shift, pivot, grow, change, and evolve, and to do it in really big ways. We didn't come in to move through one linear path. We didn't come in to only play in what feels safe in our lives. But that's what we've trained ourselves into. So now we've actually conditioned our nervous system to believe that uncertain situations are threatening, when in reality, we actually came in to navigate them in mastery. Right now, the collective fear, right? This is when I was saying the elephant in the field. What you can be certain of is that first and foremost, you're an energy worker. Your innate language is energy. You may believe that the only way that you communicate is through your words and through your ears, but it is actually energy far before that. So even if you're not listening to the news cycle, even if you don't really know what's happening, you're feeling it, because when the collective feels something, oh, everybody feels it. It's in the field. It's what we're tapping into. Our energy is always vibrating. Our life force is always vibrating. It's always picking up on anything and everything. We are little magnetic sponges. Okay. So this is where we have to decide to actually do the work to embody something different. And that's the thing. It takes work. At first, it takes practice, it takes intention. And we've been run ragged in this culture so that we feel overwhelmed. We feel scarcity in time. We feel scarcity in money. We feel scarcity in life. We feel like we're just barely surviving. And that will keep us running in this hamster wheel. So when power over has to go down, which it does, we are now in Pluto and Aquarius. We're moving into the Aquarian age. And here's the dealio. You and I signed up for this part. This is the most intense. We signed up for the transition. I know. We did. And here we are. So we get to be the way showers. We get to be the ones who magnetize a new reality way before history or astrologers or predictors, whatever, way before anybody else is telling us it's going to happen. But we're not going to do it if we just react, if we just plug in. We have to embody a different way. So we have to find our way into a certainty that allows us to be in a softness in our life where we can receive, where we can imagine, where we can create, where we live from the state of abundance that's actually the reality in this life. We've been so plugged into the money that becomes our very first frequency. Most of us, it becomes our very first thought every day, every day, every day. And if we're being told that that's going to go away, that that's going to change, that, something is going to cost more, which it's not just we're being told. I know that this is our reality, but this is where we've got to tap in to the miracle workers that we are. And doubling down in the control and the fear and the stress will never take us there. So, yes, this is where we have to like show up in the 11th hour. This is where we have to come together as community rather than isolating, which is the natural response that we have when we move into stress, control, and survival. Because we are animals, and animals, when they are sick or hurt, they withdraw or they show themselves as okay, as normal, while they're running the adrenaline to do that. And whatever's happening within is actually breaking down more. So by the time they actually show themselves, it's pretty far gone and it's much harder to come back to balance. Look at yourself in that same way. Look at your life in the same way. And this is where we decide, okay, I've been living in this squeeze. It's been feeling like doomsday for a very long time. Something's not working. Something's, gone, it feels like has gone very wrong in my life. But how do I shift that today? What are the actions I can take today to change that so that I embody a new way of life, a new identity, and a new frequency for the field and the collective? So these are the access points I'm going to give you today. But just remember that when something is big, as the system that we have empowered for all of these years has to change or end, it's gonna happen in a pretty big state of chaos. Like it has to show you how bad it is for you to get to this point where surrender happens. Surrender to the divine, surrender to the evolution, not surrender to give up. So, you know, this is where anything in your life, like if you've left a relationship, if you've gotten a divorce, if you've left a job, if you've moved, like there can be so many things, even with your own journey in self love, like something will tap on your soul, something will create a struggle for you every day. And then it's going to get louder and louder. And then it's going to have experiences in your life that get harder and harder until you finally make that shift. When you do surrender and you take on the new identity, you move into the new iteration, you massively pivot and change and go to something that wants your magic in this life instead of staying on this one path that everything has been moving you toward, all of your history, all of your stories, all of your investment in your time. You've got to just believe in this moment instead of relying on, again, time scarcity, money scarcity. It's like reaction mindset instead of investment mindset and present moment opportunity. Okay, so let me get into these two access points that are going to really bring you into this space of certainty for evolution instead of certainty for expectation and control. The first one is environment. Now, in these times, when you feel this kind of squeeze, when you feel this scarcity, this fear, and when you want to isolate, get your butt into the rooms that will hold you, that will support you, that will witness you, that will keep you in unconditioned, that believe in you to hold your certainty while you're uncertain. This is probably the biggest lesson of my life, and the one that's come the deepest with my abundance consciousness. So in this last year, I've probably had the hardest year that I've had in many. The whole business has pretty much been dismantled because I kept feeling so much challenge and resistance. And I just really trusted every part of it that seemed to go away. And then I ended up having a massive shoulder surgery, which actually kept me offline for an entire month. Like it's been wild. And I've just had to ride the waves. I've had to let myself go deeper and deeper, even though it felt like it was going into a hole rather than into expansion. So I think maybe it was after I had the shoulder surgery. Yeah, after I had the shoulder surgery. And I was bringing my team back on in a place of complete uncertainty, just starting to bring parts of the business back from a place of centeredness, from a place of joy, and, really elevating that frequency instead of trying to force from the challenge and the squeeze that I was feeling for so long. And this mentor of mine had a masterclass and I was in it. And the feeling that I got from her was like, oh, that's the manifestation feeling. That's how I want business to feel for me. I want to be oozing in this place of high frequency. I want to let go of any of the scarcity, any of the strategies and systems and the traditional ways to expand your business. And I really want it to be able to quantum leap with me because in those strategies and systems, it's a linear trajectory and you've got to work harder. You've got to show up more. You've got to double down in order to do that. So it's almost like I've went back to the 0 point activation to reorganize my whole energetic foundation in the business and in how I show up to come back out and rebirth it from a way where it will not even make sense, like the way that I leap and change and shift. And believe me, I'm still in the discomfort of it. I am with you out here. We feel like we're swimming without a life raft right now. But what I know is I also made the biggest investment of my entire life during that time because in a time where I felt less certain than ever in this soul mission, she showed up and I showed up and I trusted my guidance system that something was there for me. So I opened up to invest in a way that I never have before when I wasn't actually in like the paper or on paper space to make that investment. And now I'm in the free fall of trust for it. Now I'm showing up. Now I'm allowing myself to be vulnerable. I'm allowing triggers to show up in the space and I'm allowing it to reveal to me what it came through for, why it did invite me in, why it gave me that feeling, which is the feeling of manifestation that will hold me through all of the other ups and downs, pivots, ebbs and flows as I'm moving back into this rebirth. So that's what I really want you to know is we get so used to the isolation when we feel bad or we feel down that it only kind of accelerates that trajectory. And the more that you can just reach out, you can just invest, then you'll actually embody the energetic change really quickly while having support and knowing that others are walking this path with you. That gives you confirmation. That allows you to trust your navigation system even more. We have to get out of this space where we get the feeling that something or someone is for us. And then we go right up into the scarcity money stories or time stories, or whatever the scarcity stories are. And we're like, nope, it's not right. It's not time. Maybe someday. Do it. Collapse your timeline. I'm telling you, this is the greatest lesson that I've ever gotten on this path. And I'm even in the difficulty of it right now with the payments of that space with that mentor and the rebuilding of my business that wasn't quite ready for the payments, but I am in the trust that something will shift. Now, what I want to share with you before I move into the second access point is an environment that I'm offering for you. I am coming back in this rebirth with this new frequency for the Dimensional Dance Masterclass. And this is absolutely divinely on time, especially because I am feeling such a squeeze out in the collective. I'm feeling so much mental pain that's moving into physical pain. It's called the Dimensional Dance. It's happening on May 6th. It's free. And we are going to be moving through the third, the fourth, and the fifth dimensions. And I'm going to be giving you those access points and how to actually dance in all of the dimensions in this life experience and do it in mastery and joy. You will absolutely walk away with a new energetic foundation, your new identity coming through, massive momentum and excitement for where you're going, and the mastery of moving through the dimensions with the awareness of where you're at and how to shift that. This is freedom. This is liberation, and this is embodiment. So make sure to click the link below and join us on Monday, May 6th. If you can't make it at 12 p.m. Central Time, don't worry. There is a replay. This, my friends, I am blasting out into the field because we need this more than ever right now. You're feeling me on that, right? Like you're ready, right? Like so often we get really comfortable in our discomfort because we live lives more in that state than we live in the state of mastery, joy, and ease and flow. This is where we're going. Let's start flowing, even when there's uncertainty all around us. Don't let that dictate your one beautiful, magical life. Join me for the Dimensional Dance. It's a free masterclass. Tuesday, May 6th, 12 p.m. Central. You'll get a replay. Click the link below. Sign up today. Okay. Now, the second access point is having the awareness, being in the certainty of the reality. Y'all, we live from our beliefs. So we actually don't usually live from reality. We live from the stories that we have created. Oh, this is so big. In my mentorships, this is the one thing that I do the most is I continue to bring my clients into reality to find this separation where they understand that they are all of it. They are the master, they are the creator, they are the responder, they are the healer, like of everything. And it gets us out of the learned ego. And the learned ego is what can hold us into a bind or a struggle for for a whole lifetime or lifetimes. And we don't have time anymore, right? You don't have time to be in those struggles. I don't have time to be in those struggles. I want my energy to be super clear so that I can actually hear my innate navigation system, so that I can channel my life and I can find the courage to make those pivots and shifts, even if it doesn't make sense to my mind and the history that my mind keeps relying on. So it's really, really important that you always bring yourself back to the reality. And if you can't, you get somebody in your life that can, that you trust and your ego doesn't get prickly around. Because so often we go to family members or people in our community or friends with our vulnerability, and they're reacting in their own story and they're reacting based on how they have always experienced us in our lives. And oftentimes it can just create a bigger trigger. It can create a resentment. So you have to have the discernment of the environment that is supportive for you, that can hold you in witness and unconditioned. And we've got to stop forcing it on the people in our lives that continue to show us that they aren't able to, they're not capable of holding all of us like that. This can absolutely be applied to your romantic partner as well, and even your children. So let yourself sit with this, be certain in this, and let it bring you back to my first access point, which is invest in an environment. This is how you collapse timelines. Okay, so I'm just going to share this really quick story with you about certainty. It's like fun, easy, but it's also a way for you to see how you can apply this to your everyday moments in life. Because when you refine those moments and embody them in this identity and in this frequency, you will actually start to change your whole life from that foundation. So before I got Journey, my dog, there were a lot of wounds and imprints coming up. But one of them that was kind of more surface, and I was really surprised at it, was where I had gotten really used to not having dog poop in my yard. Like I am such an earth connector. I am walking barefoot in my yard all the time and I'm laying on the grass. Like, I just really enjoy that deep connection with the grass. And I don't enjoy connection with dog poop. So I have fenced off this little area of my yard or my acreage because of my little blind kitty, because I like to let her outside. So there's this little privacy fence. So it's not that big. And I'm looking at getting a big acreage dog, and I'm looking at a lot of big poops. And then I'm looking at like this small fenced in yard. And then I'm having a struggle within because I'm like, I don't want to not be able to walk barefoot in my yard. I don't want to have this yard filled with dog poops. I don't want Beezus to be walking into dog poop because she's blind, right? I don't want dog poop in my little garden beds in my yard. All of the I don't. Now, when he was coming, I just noticed like I was continuing to have this struggle, right? And then I got into a couple of new mindsets with it because I took myself into the reality. So, as you can see, I've got a lot of stories going on here in this situation. But when I took myself to the reality was I was ready for a dog. I desired a dog. Spirit told me it was time for a dog in no uncertain terms in the form of being charged by a badger. That's a story for another day. And I was also certain that I didn't want a lot of dog poop. I didn't want to have to fight the dog poop. Now, where does this take me? Where does this reality take me? It takes me into changing my life. Okay. This takes us back to the full circle, to the beginning of this episode, because we don't want to change our lives. Our nervous system doesn't want to change our lives. Our learned nervous system really likes expectation and control. My learned nervous system was like, I've had years without having to deal with dog poop. I've had years of being free in the grass in my yard and, all of the things. Now, my innate navigation system is offering me these struggles in order to do something different, to shift, to pivot in my life. So when I got to those certain truths, instead of fighting them, instead of being like, oh, no, I'm just not going to get the dog, right? And then circling around in that, spending a lot of my time and free energy on like thinking about all of these things. I let the certainty move me to a new identity. So the certainty moved me to deciding that I was going to keep a clear lawn because that was my desire. Also deciding I was going to adopt the dog because that was my desire. So to have those two desires, what am I going to shift about myself that make them feel good and take them out of this struggle? What can I be certain of? Now I can be certain that if I show up every day and pick up the dog poop immediately, then I am going to stop struggling and I'm not going to have to think about it. So I have to decide that it's time to shift my behavior and add that into my certainty in order to have a beautiful experience for everyone. Now, I took it one step further. I actually decided because I wanted less dog poop in my yard, I started walking journey immediately when we got up instead of fighting myself on like, oh, it's 10 o'clock. I need to take him for a walk now. Oh, he hasn't had exercise before. So as you can see, this is all leading to clearing up a lot of energy for myself because now I started to walk him immediately so that he went to the bathroom on the road in the morning. So now this actually offers less badgers or wildlife on the road, less dog poop in the yard. It gives Journey his exercise immediately when we get up. I'm happier. I'm not resentful. I'm not blaming him for having the dog poop or going to the bathroom. Like there are so many wins here. And do you see how there was a free fall of so many new opportunities that actually showed up based on the certainty of the reality that I came to instead of swimming in the struggle of the story? Yeah. Okay. So I hope that that landed. So anything that you feel like you're struggling with in your day to day life, take yourself into what's certain about it. Get yourself out of the story, take yourself into what's certain, and then start to grow and evolve from there. Believe in your time, believe in yourself, believe in your desires, believe that they're leading you to something new. This is manifestation, this is evolution, this is quantum leaping and collapsing timelines for us. This is always going to lead you to something really magnificent. So, in summary, you can find your certainty through the groups, the communities, the environments that you invest in that hold your certainty when you're uncertain, because that will collapse your timeline into where you're going, right? We move through the chaos of the resistance that's showing up in a place of surrender. Surrender is going to happen when you feel witnessed, when you feel support, when you feel like you're not just dumping on somebody, but you're an active contributing member where you're supporting others, you're receiving, you're giving, right? This is why you've got to like try to bring yourself into an investment mentality, into an investment consciousness. Get out of this reactionary consciousness because it holds us back. Now, get into the reality of any story that you have going on in your life. Get to the root, get to the dream or the desire. And if the dream or the desire isn't there, let it all go. Don't let it take up space for you anymore. Be certain that it's ready to evolve. Be certain that you can move into a new place of uncertainty because something is waiting for you there. There's always an expansion on the other side of these squeezes. We get to go there based on how we show up for them. So, has this been helpful? Are you feeling me? Are you expanding already? If so, let's go. Let's do more. Come to the dimensional dance. It's a free masterclass, and we are going to be diving in. The collective is really asking for this. So tell your friends, tell your communities, let's stop this madness of isolating ourselves because individualism will never get us to where we're going. Our hormonal cascade literally feeds off of connection and love. Let's keep creating these spaces together. Thank you so much for being here. Please share this episode with at least one friend that you know is going through it right now. You know this is going to support them. This is your way of making an impact as well. This is how we lift all of us up together. I love you so much. I'll see you next time in a couple weeks. And until then, don't forget to keep looking up.